Today the wife came home and uttered those words that sends a shiver down everyone's spine. I've been to IKEA. So made me think what she bought now and what am I going to have to put on a wall or make something fit. And she's come back with this. It's a towel rail for our bathroom that's recently been renovated. This sits on the wall at a certain height and towels sit on it, and this sits below it and you hang your towels on it. It's got these fixings that go in the wall that are then secured by the brackets, and the grub screw goes in the bottom. First thing we need to do therefore is to mount 4 of these brackets on the wall in the bathroom, which is a fully tiled wall. So I'll show you how to drill into tiles, screw into the wall and then mount these brackets. The brackets will need to be the right distance apart for the rails and need to be level as well. So let's get up to the bathroom and see how we're going to get on. I'm in the bathroom now. Sorry it's a bit echoey. This is the wall where the rail needs to go on. It's at the end of the bath. It's kind of like you have in a hotel. The problem I've got is that in my wife's haste to buy the rail, as you can see, the rail doesn't actually fit the wall. So obviously she didn't measure it, she just bought it on a whim. But we're going to be able to cut it down to make it fit, to fit the wall exactly. I've measured the wall. It's 59.5 centimetres wide. So the rail needs to be cut down to less than that. It's 62.5 centimetres now, so I'm going to need to cut a bit off. What I've also done is measured the width of a towel when folded, so that I know that I'm going to have enough width to hang a towel on it when it's folded. I need at least about 47 centimetres. So there's a bit extra for the brackets on these of about a centimetre. So realistically, if I cut them down to about 50 centimetres in total, I should have enough room to fit on the wall effectively. The good thing about these brackets, or rather fortunate thing, is they actually come out. The brackets come out of the rods, so you've just got the rods, which makes the rods easier to cut down. I'm going to cut these. I've got a miter saw that's got a blade that will cut metal, so I'm going to use that. You could use a hacksaw, but just as I've got 6 to cut and I want to do it quite quickly, I didn't think it'd take this long to fit this thing. I'm going to use this miter saw and get it done quickly. So I need to measure 12.5 centimetres off the end and mark it ready for the cut. I'm marking it with a sharpie or permanent marker so I can see where I need to cut. And mark them all. Make sure they're all the same length. Got the miter saw set up. Whenever you're cutting anything, especially metal, you should always wear eye protection. Last thing you want is a bit of metal in your eye. So I've got the line on these. I'm just going to cut it. I'll cut it a bit over to start with, because I don't want to cut them too short. This should be 12.5 centimetres long. Yeah, thereabouts. I've cut it a bit over. This is the first time I've used the miter saw on this fold down workbench, and when I was using it, it was moving about a bit, so I've just screwed in a little strip of wood along the top of it, so I can sit this over it, and when I'm cutting it won't move forward now and shouldn't move around. I'll recess some little holes to take it in the future, but it should serve its purpose for now. A lot easier than a hacksaw. Where I've cut the tube, you can see it's left a burr around the edge, which means it won't actually fit now in the holes of the bracket. It's too wide to go in, so I'm just going to get a file and just file the burrs off where I can. I might have to clamp it to a vise, but just going to file these off, and hopefully they should fit. That's all the rods or tubes filed down now, so there's no burrs on the end. I'm going to fit them in the brackets now. If I measure it, if you can see, that's bang on 50 centimetres, which is the length I wanted, so good. I'm just going to put the next one together now. To secure the rails on the wall, you can use these brackets that came with it. You put 2 screws through. I'm using 40mm screws. In the case of our bathroom, on the wall that I'm drilling into, it's a tile wall on brick. So behind the tiles, I'm going to need to fit these plugs. I'm going to use these little yellow plugs. They're not going to have to take a huge amount of weight, and it will mean that the holes that I drill in the tiles won't be so big and too close together that they'll interfere with one another, because the holes for the brackets are actually quite close together. So there's a risk if you use a too big a drill bit, you'll end up having one big hole in the tile, and if you're doing that, it could cause it to crack. A key thing around drilling into tiles is masking tape. I'll show you why in a second, but you're also going to want to use a drill bit that is tough enough to drill into tile. This is a tungsten carbide tipped drill bit, and also you don't want to be going too fast when you're drilling, but I'll show you how to drill into tile in a second. I'm going to have to drill 8 holes for these rails, so it's going to take a little while, but the key thing is not to be too aggressive. You also don't want to be using a hammer drill motion on tiles, because a hammer drill motion will cause the tiles to crack, and obviously you don't want to do that. So I'm just going to be using the standard drill setting on quite a slow speed to drill into the tiles. In the bathroom now, I'm going to offer up the bracket to the wall just to make sure there's enough room and it fits fine. So I've marked on the wall where I'm going to drill the holes for the brackets. As you can see, and I marked it on masking tape. I'm sorry about the noise in here. It's from this fan. It's meant to be a silent fan, but after 6 months it started to sound like an old banger, so I'm going to have to change that at some point. I'm going to drill the holes now in the tiles. The reason for the masking tape is it will stop the drill bit walking around on the top of the tile and give it something to purchase on. So that's through now. I'm going to use a smaller drill bit for the plugs for the wall, because I want to be able to fit the plug through the hole and into the wall rather than just sitting in the tile. Helps if the bit's in the middle of the drill, chuck. So that's both the brackets on the wall. We'll now see if the rail fits on top okay. I've marked the position of the next tail rail where it's going to go below the other one, so it exactly lines up. I've fitted the other brackets now, so I'm going to put the rail on top of the second rail on top of the brackets I've just fitted. And now to screw in the grub screws. It's all finished now and ready for towels. Hopefully the wife will be happy. To fit the tail rail on top of the fixings and fittings that come with the rail itself, I've used a screwdriver, a drill, tape measure, masking tape, spirit level to make sure it's level, eye protection to use when cutting, marker pen to mark the rods for cutting, just a normal biro to mark the tiles for where I'm positioning the rail on the wall, a file to file down the rods, some 40mm screws, a 5 and a 6mm tungsten carbide tip drill bit, some wall plugs for a 5mm hole, and a hacksaw or a miter saw that cuts steel if you've got one, and I also use this little vise that I've got that is detachable to hold the rods while I've been cutting them. That's the end of the video. I hope you found it useful. It was quite simple to do. It's taken me about an hour, but most of all, the wife's happy. If you found it useful and enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, please give me a thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, please let me know how I could improve it, as unless I know I can't get any better. Hopefully see you again soon.